This video is to show the layout for this L-shaped double flip top lid bench. So what we're going to do, and even though this piece here shows us coming flush to the drawer front on this 3-drawer base here, what we're going to do is we're going to make this top 23 1/4, as you see it right here. So where this line ends is where the top of the bench will end. So that flip top is going to have a build out here where what you've got is you've got a flat space before the top starts. So if you lift from here, you know, this would be rubbing against here. That's not going to be the case. There's going to be a build out here. So the actual lid that flips up starts here. So this is going to lift up, and then this is going to stay joined to the flush side of the cabinetry. So that top is 23 1/4 where it starts right here. This is just going to bed into the flush side of the cabinetry. That's how the top is going to look. So it'll be flat, and then you'll have the flip top lid with the storage below. And then here, if we start inside of the flush side of the cabinetry, so past the reveal on this face frame, and we have a very subtle angle going down, we will end with the toe kick that is set back somewhere around here. That angle is to be determined. So that'll show you, this video is meant to show you how that will join to the existing cabinetry on this side. So that is a 23 1/4 depth that will go all the way across here, and then it's going to be sitting on top of a platform that I will have to route the venting through, and there will be a little angled outlet on the front of it for the air to come through. So there's a little extra framing there, but that is something I'm confident I can work through the base of the unit. And then over here, it shows where the next L is going to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this side so it goes up against the framing here. And I'm going to explain when I get to that side how we're going to hide this framing member here that's supporting the beam overhead. So this L of this leg will be 19 1/4 deep. And that's going to run across here, and it will have that angle going down to the floor on this side like I've drawn. And when it ends over here, this is where it gets a little complicated, but I feel like I have a pretty good plan for it. What I will do is I will rough frame in a knee wall behind it, okay? So I'm gonna rip some studs to the correct depth where it's really gonna end up being about 5 3/4 deep, which is from here to here. So since I didn't rip anything just for the purpose of the video, imagine having a stud wall, a knee wall, if you will, where the front of the stud for that knee wall starts here and it ends here. What that's going to do is that's going to create a channel for us to route this electrical into. And then if I can fasten it to that framing there, and I can anchor it to the floor here, that'll give me a nice rigid surface to connect through the back of the cabinetry and then even down into the floor in one spot to control it this way, to prevent it from going this way, which I won't have as an issue over there. So it's somewhat of a necessity just for the electrical and also for the integrity of the installation. So as this end becomes a little complicated to finish, I'm going to explain how we're going to do that. What I will do is I will leave this panel, just the panel that is on the end of this part of the L. It's going to have the angle going down here, but I'm going to leave this end of it long. So behind this, there's the framing. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I need to hide the finished edge of this framing, and we want to have very minimal work on site when I do that. So if that's the case, and this is here, let's say my knee wall ends here, and I have this piece of 1/2 inch finished edge on the edge of the bench, there's going to be a dado here. Oops, kind of figured out what's going to happen, but we'll remove that for now. And with the dado on there, what it's going to do is it's going to bed into this piece of plywood that I'm going to run across the back of it. So I'm going to hide the edges like that with a finished edge. Now on the back here, that takes care of that bottom section underneath the bench. On the back, this finished plywood back is going to run all the way down to the floor, and it's going to cover here and hide most of the edge of this piece of trim that's on the edge. And then it's also going to be the same thickness as this base trim. So I can cut the base trim for this piece to go all the way down to the floor, and they bed perfectly into each other. So this big piece that's going to be on the back of here is going to run all the way from the floor 41 inches up and across to cover all this. It will also go against here, and then that wood cap that is on top of there, what I can do is I can notch it around this and push it against the wall here, and then that's going to extend out and cap off over here on the other side of this knee wall that I'm framing up. And on this end, where I still need to finish what is above the bench top that ends about here, I'm going to have a piece that's pre-finished with the ability to dado it on each side to put it up here on the end, and that'll be the same thickness as the end panel that I was talking about hanging over, and with the ability to have it wide enough to dado 2 channels. The one channel is going to be the plywood that is on the back of this side running this way, and the plywood that is on the back that's running this way. So imagine, if you will, this knee wall that's here, like we were demonstrating before, running up to the back of the bench, and then the pieces of plywood, the one that would be on this side, like I was just saying, and the one that would be on this side, like I was just saying. This guy, when I dado it to match that plywood that it's hanging over, presses neatly against the edge and hides this. It terminates up into the cap that's on the back of that backrest. And then you've got your area behind it for the flip top lid to go up here, flip top lid to go up there. And I will have an accessory molding that is cut to the same angle as the bottom that I can run around. So this is a good layout for me to be able to come in, pre-finished material, hide this over here, have a nice positive connection on the back here, bed into the existing cabinetry there, create a channel to route the vent, and that's it. This is all laid out, and I have good measurements for this to move forward.